mailboxes got whacked. So, I'm sure it's not, a sign from God or another meaning or whatever. But the apartment building where that accident was, I think it's called the Embassy. It's Ambassador or Embassy. So it's interesting that an accident happened right at that corner. So I think there's a Bond vet across the street. That's on the new side of that clinic. So anyway, Mr. T. Or it's T House instead of Mr. Rich. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the Starbucks in Rittenhouse with that space, because that came in around 2012. It was like kind of a new thing back then, so it's been there for like 13 years. They're repaving all these roads, Chestnut, Walnut, and Market, I guess. I don't know if there are other streets involved. 7:26, 64 degrees. They said it would be hot Monday and Tuesday, and then tomorrow it would go down to 70 as a high. Yesterday wasn't that bad because it was cloudy, we didn't see much sun, and today looks cloudy as well, so it didn't feel that hot during the time period that I was out. Contacted Morgan & Morgan once for various reasons, And the call center guy, because it's, you know, a massive firm, and the call center guy was actually a little too snippy or something, and I thought, you know, typically people are victims of something, and they're not happy, and they have to call a lawyer for some reason. So they need the utmost care, not someone who is snippy and has to prove that he's a better lawyer than the dime a dozen lawyers that exist in the world. Do you know how many lawyers exist? It's a massive population. I no longer see it as prestigious. So, in fact, a lot of lawyers work in call centers, serving as your first intake consult on the phone. That's not high level at all, is it? So I was like, this guy came across very abusively, and he's representing Morgan & Morgan. I didn't know Morgan & Morgan were up here in Philadelphia. When I was in Gainesville for 2.5 years, I saw signage all over the place of Morgan & Morgan, because I think they won their big money originally because of a tragedy, or, you know, very either fatal or a paraplegic accident in Disney World in Orlando. So then they became a big firm. I come up here and I see signage all over the buses, and I'm like, you know, oh, Morgan & Morgan also represents up here. And sure enough, there's an office up here in Philly. I'd never heard of them before. We see, this looks like someone, like, I talked about the word jump online earlier, because it came up in a couple different ways online from people who live in other countries far away. And it struck me like, jump is making the rounds, and could it be like a hint in the air, like someone needs to be okay, like don't jump, or whatever jump means to you, but it usually sounds like negative, like that song Van Halen, jump, I need to jump. So what if some songs actually play into people's, you know, suicidal thoughts and ideation or actual action? But also what was going around on the news was a weatherman from ages ago, like the 80s or so, late 70s, I forget, Channel 6 ABC. I lived in Delaware at the time, and Channel 6 ABC serves Delaware and Newark, Delaware. And there's a guy, he used to parachute jump or skydive all the time, and on his 814th skydive, the parachute didn't open, and he fell to his death. So, and I remember him saying that he always felt like he had a home in Philadelphia, that he was someone who went around trying to find work as a weatherman, and he never really fit in anywhere until he landed at the Philadelphia station. But I guess he jumped a lot. Like, that seems like a lot to me, 814. So my brain is like, wow, I guess he'd been jumping since he was almost a kid, you know. But anyway, aside from that, that word is going around a little too much. So I wonder